Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well as usual. Today, as promised, is my injuries video. I'm going to give you my injury history, what I've done when I've had injuries, as well as all of my tips and tricks and things I think that are a good idea for all of you, all included here. If you missed yesterday, I posted the first vlog I have ever done of our Disney trip this past weekend. The day one of that, day two will be up soon, as well as the Titania makeup day look on Monday. So if you've missed those, that's what's been up recently. And again, I have the point shoe video reshot coming up, an Odile day look, and the balance bar on Monday. It's going to be all about balance, so be watching for all of those. I meant to tell you all, I know I keep filming here in this little nook in my bedroom with the bed behind me. Really works, great lighting, very easy, so that's why it's the same background every time. Hope you all don't mind that. I will try and vary it up a bit soon, but that's why I'm here again. So for today, first I'm going to give you my injury history. I have never had surgery, thankfully. None of my injuries have ever been that terrible. So if you have had surgery or you're going to have surgery, I can't really help you there. I think all of these tips apply. Actually, I'm sure they all apply. But as far as the specifics of surgery and how to prepare and things, I can't help you with that. Thankfully, I can't help you with that, but I would advise you to get some help somewhere else as far as that is concerned. However, I have had two major injuries, well, 2.5, which I'll explain in a minute. But the odd thing about me is that I have done the same thing every single time. So, maybe that should tell me something. But the only injury I've ever had is spraining my right ankle 2.5 times. So there have been, I did partially tear ligaments in the foot. Again, didn't fully tear them, didn't need surgery. But it was really bad. The first time I was still at SAB, it was my second year in the year-round program at SAB. And I was in class, I can't even remember whose class it was, and we were doing Petit Allegro, and actually I think it was Suki Shorer. She gives really hard Petit Allegro, and I must have just not have been paying attention that day, because usually I was on it and I just wasn't paying attention. So we were doing Ballonnet Battu, where you do the little thing, and I jumped off of that foot and I landed on it and I crunched it, and people across the room heard it rip. So that wasn't fun. I think I was in a boot, one of those big boots, for about a month, and then took me about 1.5 to 2 months to come back. I injured it in November and was back fully in class rehearsing, I think, by February. Because I remember us doing Scène de Ballet. It was a ballet that the school students did with the company, or in one of the rep programs, and I remember in February doing that and being fine. So it must have been from November to February that I got injured and came back. The second time I did it was 4 years later, pretty much exactly, also in November. Same injury, November again. I had just been promoted to soloist, and I had it coming up the most packed season I had ever had. First and foremost, I was rehearsing Aurora. I was debuting as Aurora in The Sleeping Beauty that February, so I had that several hours a day. I had Juliet coming up. Again, I had already debuted it, but I had several performances of that coming up. I was a cast of Pas de Trois and a cast of Pas de Quatre in Swan Lake. In New York City Ballet's version, there is the famous, obviously, Pas de Trois at the beginning in the prologue, but then also in the ballroom scene, there is a Pas de Quatre. Peter Martin's choreographed it. It is 3 women and 1 man. So hard. So much fun, though, but it's notoriously difficult. And I was a cast of that and a cast of Pas de Trois. I was also the second ballerina in Ballet Imperial. Also, they call it Tchaikovsky Piano Concerto. I had dances at a gathering. I was rehearsing Blue and learning Pink. And then I also had Who Cares, which is the rehearsal that I heard it in. So I was cast as one of the 3 ballerinas in Who Cares. They are called the Man I Love Girl, the Jumping Girl, and the Turning Girl. And I was cast as the Man I Love. I was so excited about it. It was a fantastic role. It's also called the Pink Girl. And so I was rehearsing it one day, and we were doing a solo. She has this very, very difficult, long solo. And at one point, she does this big circle of piqué turns and these sort of jumps with her leg in second to the dancers to the side, if you're not a dancer. And on one of the jumps, I just came down and crunched it. And it happened that it was at the end of the day. I was exceedingly tired, and being me, I didn't speak up. I'm one of those people that you could literally, I'd have a broken foot and still do it without complaining. That's just who I am. And I had done this thing over and over and over, and the ballet master said, let's do it one more time. I should have said, you know what, I need to stop. It's not getting any better. My legs are giving out. I really can't feel my feet. I just need to stop and move on, and maybe do this tomorrow. Didn't speak up. I said, okay, sure. Did it again, crunched. And it wasn't as long that time. I came back, I missed Nutcracker, so I was out in November, I missed Nutcracker. I came back at the start of January, started doing bar, and was able to miraculously debut Aurora in February. The halftime I told you all about was the dress rehearsal of Aurora, of Sleeping Beauty. It happened, thank goodness it happened to be 4 or 5 days before my actual performance, which is not the case at all. That doesn't usually happen. But the dress rehearsal was on a Friday, and I was going to debut Tuesday or something like that. It was kind of like that. And so we get all the way through to the vision scene, where this beautiful pas de deux and this really, again, very hard solo. And very glamorously, I was running off the stage, and there's the tape that holds down the Marley to the stage, the floor that we dance on. It's basically taped in the wings, for those of you that don't know. And I was running off, and my shoe caught the tape, and I slipped, and my foot kind of jammed up. Luckily, Tyler Engel, who was my partner, was running behind me and managed to catch me as I went down. But the reason it was a half sprain was because that basically broke the scar tissue from the previous two, and I was able to dance my debut Aurora 4 or 5 days later. It was purple. It did hurt. It was not at my best, but I still managed to dance it. The debut went great. It was absolutely fine. No problems. It was the second performance I had, though, that, of course, the famous Rose Adagio balances happened to be on that foot, and I did at the end I ran around with the first guy, and I did have to releve on the second guy, the second promenade. So thankfully that didn't happen the debut, though, but by that point, my foot again was purple. It was tired, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I had to go down and come back up. I tried to save it. Hope I saved it. Not that big of a deal. The rest of the performance was fine. But I was also at that point starting to get some thyroid symptoms, even though I didn't really identify that that's what it was. And my muscles were starting to disintegrate. So between that and the bum foot, I did have to releve. But other than that, it was fine. So those are my big injuries that I've had. Not awful, not terrible, but that is my injury history. So now, again, grab your pen and paper, and here are my big injury tips. So first and foremost with injuries is prevention. You want to prevent them from happening rather than worry about them after they've happened. That's kind of a better idea. So it's just obviously very simple things. You all know all of this. Eat well, sleep well, take care of yourself, keep doing your exercises. I gave you all the feet and point work exercises, which I will be reshooting as a workout on Saturday. That will be uploaded on Saturday. So feel free to do that. Maybe do some cross training. If you're all interested, I will do a cross training video as far as what I think is a good idea. Maybe I'll do some cross training workouts for all of you. You know, Pilates, yoga, cardio. I'm a big cardio person. I do the elliptical, but you have to find out what works for you. Just do other things. Don't depend on your ballet classes to keep you in shape. Simple as that, because it won't be enough, especially as a professional. I don't know a single professional who doesn't either go to the gym, do Pilates, do yoga, do something else besides ballet. Very, very rare. The ones who don't do any cross training, when they start, eventually realize they need to. So I would do something else. Again, injury prevention is the best way to go. So the second thing about preventing injuries in a way is being mindful. This is very difficult for students because it's not in your control. You are a student, you are trying to get to be a professional. But if you are a professional, definitely monitor yourself. For example, if you are in a rehearsal, even if you're a student, if you are in a rehearsal where you're feeling, and you know the difference, not just tired and you want to go home and blah, 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 and I don't want to do it again. If you're feeling as I mentioned in that Who Cares rehearsal I had, that you literally cannot do it anymore, or your legs or can't hold you up, or you feel an injury coming on, stop, say something. Because trust me, your teachers would rather have you not complete the rehearsal than have to put in an understudy for the performance. So much more work to do that. They'll say, okay, we'll come back tomorrow, we'll do it again, and you'll be fine. Rather than rehearse another cast, get them on, do all the extra rehearsals, emergency rehearsals as we call them. So make sure you're mindful. Just yesterday, I was taking class, and this is just a minor example. We got to pirouettes in the center, and I started to feel a bit odd. My knee, I got a funny pain in my knee. So I just stopped. I didn't jump. I didn't do all the extra, grand allegro or anything. And today my knee is absolutely fine. But I knew that if I didn't stop, I was going to have a problem. It just felt very, very bizarre. I've never had a pain like that before. It wasn't a sore pain. If you're sore, that can be a good thing. Don't be the hypochondriac because, oh, this hurts and this hurts and this hurts. This was a funny pain. Like, if I didn't stop, it was going to be a problem. So I just didn't jump. And that's a good thing to remember. If you're feeling a bit odd, maybe don't jump that day. A lot of dancers do that. They'll say, I'm not going to jump today. Because jumping is a lot of impact on your joints. So even if you're, some semi-injured, or you're coming back, or things are just hurting that day and it's not good, maybe just don't jump, because that can really, really save you. I've done that many times, many professionals do it. So just, again, be mindful, listen to your body, don't be afraid to speak up. All right, so the next thing is, let's say you have gotten injured. Let's say you have a bad injury that needs surgery, or a minor injury that doesn't need surgery. It doesn't matter. The first thing you need to do is get yourself to a professional, a doctor, a physical therapist, somebody that can help you. Do not try and heal on your own. Does not work. We have, at the New York City Ballet, they have the best physical therapists anywhere. Marika Molnar, who actually the first time I sprained my foot happened to be in the hallway. That was fabulous. She just happened to be in the hallway when I sprained my ankle. She knew exactly what to do right away, and I think she really helped me to heal faster rather than prolong my injury. So get yourself to a doctor, a physical therapist. They can prescribe either medication, or obviously if you need surgery, or exercises. That's the thing about injuries. Don't just do generic exercises. You need to be doing exercises for your particular injury that will help you, because sometimes it can make it worse. So get yourself to someone that can really, really help you, that knows what they're doing, that has gone to school for this, because that's how you're going to end up healing faster. Going along with the previous one is to do your exercises. As I said, the physical therapist will give you certain exercises for your particular injury that you need to be doing. You need to be faithful doing these. As I've mentioned numerous times, I will be doing different exercise videos. Feel free to do those, as many as you like. Again, they're great for injury prevention. But do the exercises your therapist gives you. Again, they know what they're talking about. You will heal faster than if you just wait for it to get better. Do what they tell you to do. Don't be, well, I don't think they know what they're doing and all that kind of stuff. They do know what they're doing. They really know what they're doing. They are professionals. Do your exercises. Maybe even, and I really hate saying this, do a little bit of research on your injury. For example, the ice and the heat thing. That's what I advise you to research, because there are some injuries where you should not ice, and there are some injuries where you should not heat. And you don't want to be doing the wrong one, because you could really make it worse. So make sure you know whether you should ice or heat or elevate or ice on and off. Again, your physical therapist will help you with this. But again, if you have a terrible injury, go to a physical therapist. They're the only way you are really, really going to heal. The biggest tip I have with an injury that I tell people all of the time is to take your time coming back. I have seen time and time again dancers who thought they were ready, came back too soon, and re-injured themselves. It's horrible. It's heartbreaking when that happens. They would come back for 2 performances and be out again. It's just heartbreaking when that happens. So take your time coming back. This is actually, when you get injured, it's your chance to work on other things. For example, if you have a foot injury, and I'm going to tell you this, and this is kind of embarrassing, but I'm going to tell you anyway. When I had my foot injury, I would sit in a chair at home and go over my ballets with the arms. I would put the music on, I would look in the mirror, I would work on my arms, I'd work on my head, and just literally sit in the chair like Aurora. I went through the entire ballet sitting in a chair. Kind of stupid, but it worked. And then once I put the feet back in, I actually felt more with it. So make sure you're doing what you can and coming back slowly. So again, go to your doctor, go to your physical therapist. They will tell you when you can start your exercises, because with most injuries, you cannot start your exercises right away. You will end up tearing something again, or hurting something again, or breaking something again, especially if you have broken something. You can't do exercises right away. So while it is healing, do what you can. As I said, I sat in the chair and did arms. Do your Pilates. My Pilates teacher at that point was wonderful, and he gave me everything for my arms. He put no pressure on that foot, yet I was still getting strength benefits. So when your therapist says you can do your exercises, do them slowly. Don't do 100 reps right away. Doesn't make any sense. Build slowly, because that not only heals your foot, but it builds strength. It teaches it how to come back, or if it's your back or your hip, it doesn't matter what it is. You have to basically relearn things, and so you have to relearn slowly. It's like teaching a 5-year-old ballet. You don't say, okay, we're going to do fouettes today. I mean, they have to learn, this is first position, and then you open the door, and then we go to second, you know what I mean? So you have to sort of retrain yourself. So once your therapist says you can go back to the bar, do it slowly. Do one combination a day if you have to. When I had my foot injury, no surgery, just was in the boot. It took me I was at the bar for 2 weeks, maybe 2.5. I literally, one day I did pliés, and that was it. And then I did tendus a couple of days later, and then dégagés, and I kept my leg low. And then again, you have to reteach your muscles how to work properly, because they want to compensate. Compensation is a huge problem with injuries, because if, for example, with the foot, if it was my right foot, so then I'd put all my weight on the left foot, and then the left foot would start to hurt. So you want to make sure you're not compensating, and the only way you can do that is by doing this slowly. So then add things in, and once you get to the center, again, you don't want to jump right away. I spent another 2.5 weeks not jumping. So I did, tendus one day in the center, I did adagios with my leg low, and then I did maybe single pirouettes, or just relevés and no turns. I remember I didn't turn for another 2 weeks. So for me, with this non-surgical injury, it was about 5 to 6 weeks before I was ready to rehearse. So give yourself time. And again, I didn't really re-injure it except for the stupid tape on the stage. And it has been fine ever since. So if you take the time to come back properly, you will not re-injure it. As a friend of mine told me, I love this quote, it takes longer to rush. If you rush through it, whether in dancing or whether in injury or whatever, it ends up taking longer, because you will just keep re-injuring it and prolong your career. Or if you're a student, that's 5 more weeks you have to train where you could have been auditioning or you could be performing. So come back properly. And usually your physical therapist or your doctor will tell you, when you can do things, and you'll be fine. So just take care of your body, be mindful, and don't come back too quickly. I promise you, you will thank me later. The last little thing is this kind of doesn't have anything to do with an injury, but make sure you have supportive people around you. If you have a teacher that basically wants you to dance on a broken leg, it might be time to find a new teacher. Or parents, if your parents are pressuring you to get back to class, that can be really hard. So make sure you have someone in your corner that can be encouraging, that can be helpful. I know my parents have been beyond helpful. They were helpful with my injury, with my illness. They never pressured me to feel like I had to be back. So make sure you find somebody that can help you. If it's not your parents, it's a friend or someone at your studio or your teacher at your studio. Just somebody that will understand what you're going through. I am here for all of you. If you are having trouble and you want to talk to me about something, again, comment, send me a message. I'm happy to help you through it. I can't promise I'll reply right away, because I am getting a lot of comments these days, but I am here for you. Honestly, I have been there. I have been through it. I have been injured. I have had an illness. I know what it's like. I have been in your shoes. So if you need somebody to talk to, I'm here for you. I want you all to know that. So if you have nobody else, you have me. So I hope this helped you out a lot. Again, just to sort of go over everything, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Be mindful. Don't push yourself when you don't need to be. Make sure you have a good physical therapist or a doctor. Do all of your exercises that they tell you to when they tell you to. Come back slowly at the bar. Make sure you're not coming back too fast. Make sure you're taking your time, as well as then have somebody in your corner. If you don't have anybody in your corner, I'm here for all of you. I will maybe do, I can't decide how I'm going to do this exactly. I will do the cross-training video. I might do, as I've been doing all of these bars, I might do an injury bar. So sort of really basic, or maybe I'll call it the easy bar, where it's literally like 5-year-old, like very, very basic. We won't lift our legs above 45 degrees, so that if you are coming back, you can do that one. So I'm thinking of maybe doing that one in the future as well. So let me know what you think. Please leave your comments or your questions. If you have anything you want to talk to me about, message me on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. I love you all so much, and I will see you tomorrow with the Odile Day Look.